Hey, this is Mike from the Graphic Novel Show. Are you interested in starting and running your own podcast? Well, you know, this is the second one that we've done. We used to do a different one, and we decided to start this one. And last time we used Anchor, and you know what? We decided to go back with Anchor again because they are the easiest way to make a podcast. They give you everything you need in one place for free. You can do it right from your phone or on your computer. Anchor gives you creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. You can do that right from your phone. That's quite amazing. They'll also distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Now, what you need to do is go download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
I'm Parker, and I use they, them pronouns.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I use he, him pronouns.
And welcome to
the Graphic Novel Podcast. All right, welcome to this week's show. We are a weekly show that discusses graphic novels, zines, and other comics. We throw in a little bit of real life.
Sometimes we talk about relationships, queer issues, race issues. Sometimes we talk about death.
And we have a new episode every Friday. If you like the show, we'd really like it if you went on Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars, or went on YouTube or Spotify or any one of those places and gave us a great rating.
Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast so that every week when it comes out, it will be there and waiting for you.
That's right. And make sure you tell your friends.
Yes, please.
Yes, you can interact with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Insta. And if you want to leave us a voice message, you can do so at anchor.fm/graphic novel podcast.
We may play it on the show.
That's right. How are you today, Parker?
I am so good.
I know. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a sunny day. The world is still in turmoil.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So much turmoil. I mean,
I'm glad. I'm glad it is.
I mean,
it's been a long time coming.
I mean, between COVID and the Black Lives Matter, which is not ending, which is, I mean, there's been at least one police killing since our last episode. And now there's more of this comics crap coming out with more creators getting canceled because women are finally speaking out and saying how trashy they are and how some of them have been. And now even today, another one, reading about...
you were spending hours down this wormhole of reading
all kinds of this stuff. And editors, too, film editors who suddenly there's anti-white racism. You know, they got something up their ass because they've been handed this shit forever without a problem. And all of a sudden, some black people would like to step up and get some of the pie.
It's like I can't even come up with a parallel because it's so ridiculous. But reading some of those comments, I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah, they're
like
racist as fuck.
Oh my God, claiming reverse racism because black people are like, I want to hire other black people.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I know.
You know how long they were enslaved, right?
Yeah, I don't know. So we're in the middle of
5 seconds. It's all it takes them to feel.
Yeah, exactly.
The
talk
not
about
being
snowflakes,
wanted.
you know.
No, exactly.
They are snowflakes, and they melt just as fast as a snowflake. I mean, they are not unique, that's for sure. But yeah, it's.
But that's the opposite of snowflake.
Well, snowflakes are unique.
Yes, they are not.
I know they're the opposite of that, but they melt quickly. So. I'm just trying to turn the snowflake.
I know.
I don't know why they ever used it. I think they were wrong in what they were doing. But anyhow, we've got a good show today. It's Pride Month still. Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride.
Continuing our Pride with First Year Out today. And we've got some other stuff going on. I've got other books that I've read, but because it's Pride Month, I'm not going to review any of those until next month. Wait until July. I've got some other stuff. I read a Dick Grayson book, and a couple other books too. And we're just going to wait because they're not pride related at all. So I figure we'll just hang out. They're not black lives or anything. So we'll just wait.
Okay.
But until then. Okay, I've got a little bit of news this week. First off, on June 16th at 10 a.m., Emerald City Comic Con announced that they were not going to have a show this year. They were supposed to have the show in March, but you know how everything was going and people were getting nervous. A lot of people were canceling. They had so many people cancel before it even took place that they decided to postpone it till late August. But as of now, I mean, we're not out of this yet. And there still is no large gatherings. And by the end of August, there's no guarantee that large gatherings will even be allowed, let alone people wanting to go to them. So they said, because of this, and after many discussions with the convention center exhibitors, artists, and fans, that we have made the excruciating yet necessary decision to cancel Emerald City Comic Con 2020 in Seattle. We're still here, though. What they're going to do is they're going to have another, like they did in March, they're going to have another virtual con, and they're going to have all kinds of stuff going on.
I've been waiting for these virtual Pride events to happen, and I think Trans Pride Seattle posted finally, and theirs is the last weekend, and I think that they all wanted to be able to get it done virtually, and it's just not as
well. That plus the
simple
Black
as
Lives
you'd
Matter.
like to think.
Black Lives Matter is going on, and it's hard to try and trample on top of that.
Oh, yes,
I'm
absolutely.
sure that's part of it too.
You know what? You're absolutely right. After the murder of George Floyd, it's hard to, and all the protests that have come since.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. That probably does. Then good. Then honestly, us queers are busy trying to get to the front lines, and I mean that's a good thing. So my pride this year can wait.
So Emerald City Comic Con is going
no,
it's okay. They're going to be refunding tickets automatically by June 29th. And they have information on the 2021 tickets in the fall. We weren't going as media, we were going as business, I believe. Some type of special guest.
We weren't
No, we weren't going as media, but maybe by next year we'll be able to get in as media.
I think we were applying too late or something.
We were late because our show had only been on for a short time. By the time next year comes around, we'll have over a year's worth of shows, and I think we'll have at least a shot at it. Anyhow, so next year, March 4th to 7th, if everything goes well, they will be back. All right, another thing. After 28 plus years for the Comics Dungeon and 39 plus years for Comics Corner, it's time for both to close. The current owners have owned the businesses for 15 years, and they've decided that with everything going on, it just wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to be able to, I think they just weren't going to be able to survive going more months with limited business. We had gone to Comics Dungeon once, liked it a lot. It was a real nice store.
Yeah.
But it was in the University District. These are both in Seattle area. But yeah, here's the shift in the changes in the business climate in the area, major shifts in the comics industry, plus a devastating effect of COVID-19. So part of it is I bet the distributorship changing with DC, no longer going through Diamond, and now they're going to have to be going through other distributors and buying more stuff like that. And it just, I think for some businesses, it becomes too much. But we wish them luck.
I'm sure that's only a small part of it.
Yeah, we wish them luck. You know, they tell people where to go to purchase their comics if they're doing online comics, like if they're doing subscription stuff.
Right.
But good luck to them. And lastly, I've got the New York Times graphic books and manga bestsellers for May of 2020. Number 1, Guts by Irena Telgemeier. Then we've got Best Friends by Shannon Hale, Drama by Raina again, New Kid by Jerry Craft, Babysitter's Little Sister, Karen's Witch by Ann M. Martin, Ghost by Raina, Fiji TV presents Into the Game by Fiji TV, Sisters by Raina, Strange Planet by Nathan W. Pyle, Smile by Raina. So in case you haven't having caught on, Raina has like 5 books in the top 10.
I didn't catch that.
Let's see. These are all YA books too.
Yeah.
All of them except for Strange Planet, maybe not. But then we've got Check Please, Sticks and Scones. It's book number 2. It's the one we haven't read yet.
I'm getting that feeling in my side again. I think it just only happens when I'm high.
Oh, maybe. That's why it only happened when you're high.
Stop. Don't sing too many seconds of that.
Okay.
We have a big audience now. We might get time.
Okay. So that Check Please was number 14, and My Hero Academia Volume 2 is number 15. So very interesting that New York Times is doing this. When you purchase an independently ranked book through our that's different. But so those are the top books for May.
What do you mean it's interesting
that most of them are YA books? I mean we've talked about that before, that's a huge market increase.
Yeah.
For graphic novels. I mean, so all right, it is our review section of the show. What book are we doing today?
Today we read First Year Out, a transition story by Sabrina Symington.
All right, it's a good book. Should say that up front. Sometimes we forget to say some of the stuff. We forget to talk about the color.
I know. I don't even know if we talked about the art last week.
Yes, we did. We did mention it.
Okay, good. Because I love the art. But
yep. Sabrina Symington is raised on Gabriola Island and currently living in Vancouver, BC. Sabrina Bria Symington is a comic artist best known for her webcomic Life of Bria, as well as her graphic novel First Year Out. She's a graduate of Emily Carr University of Art and Design, former professional karate instructor, and she really likes dinosaurs. When she's not drawing comics, she makes her own custom Pokemon cards and provides voice therapy to members of the transgender community looking to change their speaking voice.
It's amazing that in this vast universe, which at every turn tries to suppress our existence, we somehow find who we are and become our true selves. This intimate graphic novel follows young transgender woman Lily as she navigates her first year of being openly female, from laser hair removal and coming out to her parents, through to dating, voice training, and gender reassignment surgery. It traces the thoughts, emotions, and struggles many trans and non-binary people face every day. With love and friendship at its core, this honest story is a testament to being who you are and a celebration of gender diversity.
All right. So, the book is exactly what it is. And we got the book. I purchased it for Parker. And it turned out it was used. It didn't look like it was, but it was used, and it was given to somebody named John.
Mike.
And apparently John wasn't happy with it.
Mike.
What?
Why are you? Why would you even say that?
Because I'm sad that John didn't like the book.
I'm disappointed in John.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
But I do like the little dinosaur that she drew.
Oh yes, she loves dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So we've got this story. About this. Now you've mentioned her before because you talked about her horror comic that you were reading, and you said that it finished up finally.
Yes, I think I've talked about it so many times, honestly, because I was in love with it and looking for it every day or every week or a couple weeks when it was posted at just a page every time. And I loved it so much. I got offered like top fan on her Facebook or whatever because I was loving so many of her posts.
I don't know if you told me that. You may have mentioned that. So go back and look, Bria. Top fan here, Parker. Just stalker. But you loved it. You loved their artwork. And is it the same? Does it look like the same kind of artwork?
Yeah, and a lot of her stuff. I mean,
artists generally have a same style.
Yeah, she definitely has a style. But when you look at, I don't know. I think she may have changed things up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, a lot of it is very similar, but I don't know.
When did this come out? This came out in
2013?
This is from
not 13.
Singing Dragon. It must be in the back. Yeah. 2018. Yes, it's pretty new. Singing Dragon out of London.
Why did I think it was so much older than
Philly?
that?
No, it's 2018.
I must have been following her before this then.
Maybe.
It's I've been following her for a while.
So the book is full color, hardbound. And it's exactly what First Year Out is, a transition story. It's about this person who I would guess there's some of her or a lot of her in there.
Oh yeah, it says right there that it's based on her own experiences.
So a lot of it's her. It might be some of it might be a little fictional to fill the story in.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it's about this person who is transitioning and the struggles they're going through from like at the very beginning, just going to the laser clinic to have their beard.
Yes, she has to grow her beard out.
Right.
Did it say 3 days? I think.
How long has it been since you last shaved? 3 days, like you asked.
Okay, yeah. So she has to grow her beard out and come to the laser hair place with the beard.
Yes.
That she's been growing for 3 days.
Right. So they're embarrassed and they've got a hoodie on and everything.
She has a hoodie on and she has a hat and everything. And she's kind of, she's kind of like ducking and trying to hide her face because I mean, it's scary to exist in that world and not be able to take care of things that should be, I don't know. Maybe
well, and like she says, it was hard enough. Well, it says it's hard to, how long will this? How many treatments? It's hard to say. Most people need 8 to 10 treatments, which means she'd have to grow out her beard each time, and then have it removed, and then hopefully each time it kills enough that eventually it stops.
Right. Which I mean, you see, you get to follow that all the way to the end. At the end, is her last laser hair treatment, and she's like, the nurse says, "Well, I'll just take off your foundation." She's like, "Oh no, I don't have any." Mm-hmm. She's like, "Oh, okay. So how long's it been since you shaved?" And she's like, "I don't even know. It's been so long." Mm-hmm. And so then she's like, "Well, I guess we're done here." And she's, Lily's got this big smile on her face, and she's so excited, and it's just.
So part of the story is Lily getting her mother on board with what's going on. Her mother seems to be okay with it to a point, but she doesn't understand it completely. Like her mother's not like anti-trans, but she considers herself a feminist and stuff. And she's like, I'm.
That was another interesting part because I think a lot of us have dealt with, and I mean this story is her own experience and knowing experiences from the community too, right? But she's kind of got that. I feel like the story is presented either you have loving and accepting parents, and that's easy, and then you have the complete opposite, which is parents that kick you out. Mm-hmm. And I feel like those are the narratives that are set out to the world. And I don't think that that's a lot of, I mean, I think the majority of people have relatively, parents that say they're supportive,
right,
but don't get it, and they don't,
right.
They don't do the reading, don't do, the work, to try and get to a place of acceptance, that they understand. Because they say, you're my kid and I love you. And, that's not going to change. And that's great. That's what you want.
Right.
But then they don't do the work to understand where you're coming from or, to see your existence. And I think that a lot of the time those parents are just lying to themselves really about
just pretending
what it takes.
Just right. They're giving you the lip service, like, okay, great, but in essence, you're still their little boy or little girl on the inside, and they won't say that to you anymore.
Right. Yeah, well, I think that's you get to see growth in her mom too, because you get to see that she did the work. Well, I think I don't even know if Bria said that what she was saying was turfy or.
Well, yeah, I'm at the beginning before her mom's even to that point yet. She's trying to explain to her mother, and that's part of the book that's really nice. There's a lot of these type of explanations
that I don't think necessarily happen. Like this is like but it's almost a fairy tale thing.
But it's for the reader.
No, I know. That's what I love.
Thing. Yes, it's for the reader. It's not necessarily that. Yeah, everybody explains to their parents all this.
Right, but it helps us queer people to have those conversations too. You have a template there.
Yeah. Well, like she says to her mother, what if a mad scientist took out your brain and put it into the body of man? Would that then make you like who you are as a person deep down inside a man? She's like, that's silly. That can't happen in real life. But then Lily talks about how when a baby's born, they look at it and they say, that's a boy, that's a girl, and that's where it ends.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that changes it. Once you have the MRF, you're it.
Yeah.
But so her mother says, but I just don't understand why you need to go all the way to being a girl. Somebody as smart as you is beyond gender. You could be like androgynous. So, I mean, her mother understands some of it.
Right.
So she knows that, but she's just, Lily goes on to say, I can't be somebody I'm not. The person I've always felt myself to be for my entire life as a woman, and no amount of intellectualizing is going to change that. So, I mean, and it goes back and forth. She talks about how she hasn't talked to her father because she was born as Darren. So the father won't talk to her because she's Lily now, not Darren, her little boy, and his little boy.
The phone rings and they, it was her dad on the other end. Mm-hmm. Wait, was it her dad? I don't know if it ever said that. It said that it was somebody who asked for Darren.
Right. Yeah.
But actually, now that I think about it, I don't know that said dad. Maybe am I just implying that?
Yeah, I don't remember. It might not have been.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, it goes through different things.
But instead of saying, I mean, and this is the thing I think you've gotten into with me sometimes, is that it's like that they're looking for you. You know that you're the one that is whoever is calling is wanting to talk to you.
But that's not.
So why don't you just say that? And it's like I would rather hang up on somebody than be forced to explain, especially if maybe it wasn't dad. It wasn't a voice that she recognized, but she knows that they don't know who she is, and she doesn't want them to think, she doesn't want to have to explain to them who she is.
Right.
And she doesn't owe that to anybody, but I know that I've definitely felt pressured to just explain who I am. When you're sitting there next to me and you're like, they're here looking for you. Just say who you are.
Oh no, this is going back to here it is. She answers the phone. Oh, hello, is Darren there? Who? My son, Darren.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Should be at this number.
So it does say.
Oh no, nobody by that name lives here. Wait, are you? Boom, and she hangs up. And the mom is like, who is that?
Okay, so it was dad.
Nobody,
okay.
Wrong number.
It was dad. But
so obviously her voice had changed. So he didn't recognize it right away.
Well, I'm sure that was part of it, but also like
he was still asking for his son.
Right. And his son didn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
Okay. So had it not been her father, my story may have made more sense.
But it's okay.
But her dad should know better, right?
Should, but he's not in the picture. They're divorced too. So, I mean, it's obviously they haven't had a close relationship for a while.
Well, and she said that she came out. We're going into the little details that probably don't need to be gone into, but she said that she had emailed him and that he didn't respond. She emailed him twice and he didn't respond to either of the emails.
Right.
So, I mean, she didn't owe him an explanation.
Right.
Honestly, is my feeling.
So other parts we were talking about how it explains a lot of things. She talks about taking all the different drugs, the hormone replacement therapy, and all the drugs.
Yep.
She talks about the different kinds of surgery you can get, like the bone surgery for the nose and Adam's apple, feet and hands, different things that would make her more feminine looking from the masculine body she had. So a lot of different things that I didn't know these things. So it was interesting reading them and seeing these things.
Well, yeah, because you only see the one, you just see my existence.
Right. I mean, I know what you do.
Right.
But then her mother's like, I heard those pills cause cancer. Is this worth dying for? But then there's an asterisk and it's like, no, Lily's mom, they don't cause cancer. So it's again, what people see or they hear or they read on the internet. It's like, oh, people people that take those hormones to be transgender people, they get cancer from that stuff. You know, it's the crazy shit that people say.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so she goes out with her friends and she tries to blend in and it's tough because she is still learning who she is and trying to date, you know, and
wanting to date,
you know, and you know,
and I mean, the things that you have learned and you have to relearn. Like I've never been able to walk in heels. I can't imagine trying to learn how to walk in heels at 20 years old.
Yeah.
20 some years old. I don't remember how old she is in here. But so she's trying to learn all these things and learn how and in the meantime her friends are using the wrong pronouns and she has to keep reminding her friends to use it. And she's like, "Oh, well, sorry, you know I don't mean anything." And Lily is like, "I know you don't, but if I don't correct you, you're never going to stop."
Right. So she ends up meeting this guy when she's out with her friends, and guy's nice and asks for her number, gives it to him. They're going to go out to dinner, and mom's like, "Well, be careful. You don't know how he's going to react when you tell him." And she's like, "If I tell him, what do you mean you have to tell him?"
Yeah, and you know, I didn't really I don't know. I think that it would be very nobody owes that to anybody, right? To tell them whether they're transgender or not. No. You don't owe that to anyone.
No, you don't.
If it came time to have sex, then for your own safety,
yes.
I think especially in Lily's case, she's hasn't had surgery yet. Bottom surgery. She does choose to, but even if she didn't, that wouldn't change anything, but her safety would be at risk, I would think, more. Sorry. Well, my brain's going slow.
It's okay. Well,
so I understand her mother's perspective. Shouldn't you tell him before you date him because I want you to be safe. I want you to come home safe. But she doesn't owe anybody
She says that too. She's like, I mean, if we're going to have sex, then I would make sure he's cool with it. But other than that, I don't see why I should have to tell him anything.
Exactly.
It's, you know,
but if people think that they have to give that information up front.
If they go out on one date and then never gets that far, why the fuck did he have to know?
Exactly.
Because then, you know, that could turn against her, or maybe he gets violent, you know, who knows, you know, people are assholes. So anyhow, her mother's helping her get ready. Her mother, you could see her mother slowly change. She's like, "Oh wait, your blush needs a little adjusting here."
Yeah, that was cute.
I like that. You like it.
It wasn't like that's what I really loved about it. You saw the progress through the book.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't start out, you know, 100%, you know, all behind her, but she grows and she learns and it shows her going on. I don't remember if Lily told her to go do some reading on TERFs or if she called her a TERF. I don't remember that detail, but she goes online and she looks at these radical feminist. Sorry, in case you're listening and don't know what a TERF is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. They don't believe that women are women.
Right.
And trans women are women. And so what was I saying? Oh, it shows the mom go and she finds this website and she's reading the website and says, "Oh yeah, this is the kind of feminist that I want to be." But then she finds the anti-trans stuff where they, essentially call trans people monsters. And then suddenly did you find it?
Yeah. Here, she gets mad at her mother. Her mother's like, "You grew up around boys being cautioned and conditioned by male privilege to have male thoughts." And she's like, "Actually, I'm pretty sure that's the opposite of the effect it had on me. Where are you going? Away from your 1976 exist TERF garbage." What's got her so worked up? So then she looks up TERF, transgender exclusionary radical feminist. There's nothing wrong with radical feminism. It takes me back to my college days.
Right.
And then she finds, oh, this is run by one of my favorite writers. And then it's how transsexuals seek to control women by raping their way. And she starts reading all this stuff, pedophilia, delusional sexual deviance. She's like, wait, this doesn't sound like my child.
Yeah.
Is that what I sound like? You know, she's all of a sudden it's like, I'm not trying to be that person, but that's who I'm coming off as to my child.
Yeah.
And it was like, it startled her to read that.
Yeah.
And she's like, whoa, that's not me.
Yeah.
That's not my child.
Yeah, it clicked.
And it all clicked right there. And anyhow, she goes out with the guy. The guy likes her, and it happens in all relationships. But this guy, he likes her, and he plans on dating again. And then his transphobia kicks in, or he told some friends who said, "Oh, you're going to date a trans."
That's what
you're going to date a trans girl.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And so he's like, "Yeah, I can't see anymore." And that's for anybody that happens. I've ghosted people before.
You shouldn't say that.
It's
proudly.
No,
I know you're not saying it proudly.
No, I've done it before. Yeah, I've done it before. It's not a good thing.
No.
And it hurts. It hurts people.
Yeah.
It hurts people. I've been hurt on the other end too.
I've been ghosted.
Yeah, we've been ghosted several times. And it hurts. It hurts to. So I understand.
At least,
and
I
most
mean,
people can.
not to say at least anything, but I'm glad that he came in. I'm glad he showed that example to the readers. The character. I guess I'm saying I'm glad Bria decided that she wanted this character to show that it's okay to, not that it's okay to, oh my God, that you should go and break up in person. I mean, he was not a good person.
Oh, it was in person too. Yeah. Yeah, they did. They did. He
came to the door. Yeah. And so she could say, no, that's whatever. So that he could say it to her face.
Yeah.
Anyway, my words are all getting mixed up now.
And then,
I really like when she went and talked to. So she's somebody that Bria met at the group,
the social group or the therapy group, kind of.
I think it's just a support group.
Okay, support group. Yeah.
What did you call it? Therapy group.
Therapy group. It's a support group. Yeah. And she talks about you can always try dating a chaser. What's a chaser? The guys who are into T-girls.
Yeah, and I appreciated that part of it. I mean, I kind of knew it existed, but it's not something I've experienced. So
yeah,
seeing the other side.
But she's talking about, because not everybody wants bottom surgery.
Yeah,
and
it's expensive and not really easily made available.
Right, and Lily in the story though wants bottom surgery, so she's not comfortable with her genitalia. So. As it is, but it sounds like the person that she's her friend that she's talking with is
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who want to date trans girls who have genitalia like that, because that's, I think it's their way of pretending that they're not.
They fetishize. It's not. It's not a chaser is somebody who fetishizes.
Is it
trans
just fetish? Women. Do you think there's anything like homophobia in there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the friend of hers decided to get bottom surgery, and then it sounded like nobody wanted to date her.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of times Lily looks in the mirror and, maybe she's a beautiful woman and she looks in the mirror and she still sees Darren.
Yeah, I mean, that's dysmorphia.
And it's, the dysmorphia.
Dysmorphia is.
Yeah. And it's hard, and and anyhow,
when you look in the mirror and see somebody, you see yourself as somebody different than how you really appear.
Well, what happened is when she met this other person who loved who they were,
well, and they had come out a long time before.
Everywhere I went, I would try to live peacefully as myself, stealth as they call it, but only for a while. And eventually, she says, eventually somebody will find out about your past. And I realized pretty quickly that wasn't for me. So started, it just, this person was, I think, a big help in helping Lily to get through this, finding out that they could be who they want to be. And then they got accepted to get the bottom surgery.
Oh yeah. She got approval for the bottom surgery.
For the bottom surgery. And she decided to go on a website and a dating website and start dating. She was feeling good about herself. And, in the end, everything worked out for her.
Well, and this book actually is the first time that I had heard about dilating. I didn't know that was something that was a requirement. I didn't know anything about it because that would not be my
something that you
existence.
Yeah.
Which is silly. I think everybody should talk about it.
Well,
maybe I don't. I don't
know, but we know about it now.
Anyway.
But and her art, I like her art.
But love the art. I still follow her. Follow her on Facebook and
Insta.
I don't know if she's on Twitter.
Probably Insta.
Probably Insta too. But follow her. She Life of Bria Comics. She's an amazing artist. Did we say that it's full color too?
Yes, I said at the beginning. It's full color.
Can't remember.
Hardback.
Like I said, she did the horror comics, so she's still got a lot of work that she's still doing. And in fact, after COVID, I think it was, she was doing live voice training.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure she started after COVID. It may have been before, but she was doing online voice training, which I thought was really cool. I hadn't tuned into any of it just to see what it's about, but I mean, I know what it's about, obviously, trying to train your voice, which she also talks about in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was an educational book for me. It was an educational book. At the same time, I saw things about you in there.
Yeah.
So it was good. I saw a lot of different things. And
I think she did a really good job of educating and not
preaching.
Well, yeah, but even when she's talking to her friends, and her friends are misgendering her and using the wrong pronouns, she just kind of said, this is because I think a lot of people don't know how to approach it, and it's scary sometimes to do it, and so seeing just how it's handled between friends, I think is an awesome thing to have in front of you, especially if you're not, if you're in the rural areas and there's you're the only trans kid in town or whatever. Seeing something like this can make a world of difference in your education and how to handle things.
I've seen online multiple times people have said, I want to know, is it okay to ask somebody what their pronouns are? Most people are okay with it. I think some people, there's always going to be people who aren't okay with it. But for the most part, people are like, I'd rather you ask me. And then, I can tell you.
I think anybody that isn't okay with...
With what?
Anybody who isn't okay with being asked their hormones. Their pronouns. Oh my God. Don't ask people about their hormones, please.
You tell me about your hormones,
about their pronouns. If somebody tells you that they don't want to be asked about what their pronouns are, probably are cis gender.
Oh yes, because it's funny. I've seen a bunch of, there's been these things going on lately on Twitter, and a bunch of people are like, what is cis? I don't know what cis is. And so people are like cisgender.
I know people are like, what is that a what do you call it? Is that a slur against cis people? Like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Cisgender. It's a scientific term.
But that's what people think it is. They think it's a slur, so they have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great book for the story is really good. I mean, it's got a great story, and it's good because it teaches you, and like you said, it gives
you a glimpse into life of...
But it's something if somebody is maybe going through this, this is a book to buy to give to your parents or to your friend or somebody that maybe is not quite understanding, or maybe you want them to understand, like giving somebody a book about pronouns, so maybe they read it and understand what your pronouns are and why you're using them. People do that.
Yeah.
And they hope that the people that they give the books to read them.
Yep.
So that's honestly probably the best that we can do. You can't force people to love you for who you are. You can't force people to use the right pronouns. You can distance yourself from them.
Yeah.
And
find real family.
And yes, the family is who we make, not necessarily who, we're born to.
Blood to.
Yeah.
Blood match.
Blood match. Yeah.
That had a very weird picture in my brain after I said it.
Anyhow.
So, sorry, I quickly wanted to say today, the day now we're recording, the day it's going live, is Juneteenth. So happy Juneteenth, everyone.
Happy Juneteenth.
That marks the end of slavery.
It is.
Yes, it marks the end of slavery 2.5 years after the fact. But they finally came to Texas and said, the war's over. Yeah. These slaves are free.
Please don't go on Facebook. Don't go on Twitter. Don't go on any of these places if you don't want to see racists out the ass. I mean,
what?
Up the ass.
Yeah,
I said out the ass, but up the ass. I mean, it's just so much. I go down reading these
rabbit holes. Yeah.
Just follow one after another, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people, man? Go
and then
take
you
your Confederate
say
statues and shove them up your ass.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, there's just so much of that. But you know what? Let's keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving forward. White people, say what you got to say, and help, and just keep moving forward.
Yes. Speak up, sit down, and listen, and give support to people of color. We talked about some supporting small local Black-owned businesses in your area. Do the work.
Yeah.
Support them. They need it.
Yep, definitely. When this clears up a bit, we're definitely gonna head to Seattle and hit some businesses down there.
Yeah, but
not hit them, but we'll go and
support them.
Anyhow.
Anyway.
Until next time, my name is Mike.
I'm Parker.
And this is
the Graphic Novel Podcast.